Why did the Celtics get destroyed last night, you ask? Look no further than their two all-NBA stars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who just couldn't make shots. Meanwhile, undrafted guard Gabe Vincent outscored them both 29-26. Kendrick, obviously you played for this franchise, won a championship with them in Boston. I'm curious, who looks worse to you now? Is it the coach and Joe Mazzulla, or in the stars and Tatum and Brown?
Oh, Molly, it's definitely Joe Mazzulla. And for him to go up there in his post-game interview and say, I didn't have those guys ready, I got to figure it out, well, that's a damn shame. And I knew that he made the wrong choice when we got the report before the game started, that he was starting Derek White and bringing Robert Williams off the bench. That is a huge problem to me. Your best player in Jason Tatum has come out time and time again publicly telling you, if we're going to win a championship, this is the most important piece of this team outside of me and Jaylen Brown is Robert Williams. But you keep on harping on starting a 36-year-old Al Horford because all you want to do is worry about the offensive end and stretching the floor and having guys play AAU-style basketball so that way y'all can live by the three and die by the three. No, you supposed to start Robert Williams. He does so much for you on both ends of the floor. We already know what he's going to bring defensively. Elite shot blocking, being able to guard the pick and roll, being able to get out there and switch out on guards and wings if he have. Offensively, when Jason Tatum had 51 in Game 7, a lot of that came off the back of Robert Williams. Because he's so much of a dynamic roller, because he's a lob threat at the basket, and guys have to pay attention to him, because he plays the dunker spot so well, it allows those guys to be able to operate and be the best version of themselves. So I'm looking at Joe Mazzulla, and I'm sitting up here saying, well, damn. The Celtics' identity all last year was defense, but you made an adjustment to go offensively by inserting Derek White and putting Robert Williams on the bench. So I'm looking at Joe Mazzulla on this one.
Got to disagree with you there. I'm not disagreeing with your points about Joe Mazzulla, and it is a problem, and it is something that we will get into as this show progresses today, Kendrick Perkins, and I hope you had a nice weekend, by the way, my brother. But I got to tell you something right now. I sincerely doubt that you had a nice weekend after watching that atrocity last night because you are a prideful champion representing the Boston Celtics franchise, even though obviously you're an analyst for this network. And there's no way in hell you could tell me that you got any enjoyment, even though you did forewarn all of us, that especially me, that Boston did not want to see Miami. I don't give a damn what you say. You didn't expect this. Not what we saw. I would remind you that last night as we watched Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, we watched Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combine to shoot 12 of 35 from the field, 1 of 14 from three-point range, 6 turnovers, okay, in that process, more turnovers than assists. In this series, they're shooting 7 for 40 from three-point range, the two of them. 7 for 40. That is 17%. And they have more turnovers than assists. That is atrocious. And I love me some Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I believe both are stars. And it's hard to imagine how you can transfer from dropping 51 in a closeout Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers to this mess that we've witnessed in this series. It's an indictment against the Philadelphia 76ers, no doubt about it. It's an indictment against Embiid and Harden, okay, which is something we'll get into another time. But it is now, you look at giving credit to the Miami Heat, and of course they deserve it. But on their worst day, meaning Boston's worst day, I never expected this for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to look helpless. We haven't seen that. We've seen them defeated. We've seen them beat. We haven't seen them look helpless. And more importantly, I don't think there has ever been a time where I've seen the Boston Celtics and I felt they got their hearts snatched out their chest. The only thing that I can think of in my years of watching the NBA where I've seen something tantamount to this. If you remember Kendrick Perkins, I think it was I'm trying to remember which year it was. but the Lakers ran the San Antonio Spurs out of California. And Tim Duncan sat there depressed, looking like he was crying. And Popovich was sitting next to him, tapping him on his knee. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. And you saw Jack Nicholson, and he was sitting there, the famed Laker fan. It was great to see him at the arena the other day, by the way. And he was literally looking into the camera. Take their heart. Take their heart. That is the only thing that I've seen in my years of covering the NBA that was the equivalent of yesterday. Yesterday, the Boston Celtics got punked. They got their heart snatched out of their chest. They looked beaten. It's so bad. I don't even know why we should have a game 4. Yesterday was one of those moments where I think a mercy rule should have been invoked in the NBA, and we should have just stopped playing after they were up 93-63 at the end of the third quarter. It was that embarrassing. And there's nothing else I can really say about that. I think it's Tatum and Brown.
So I always hit you and Molly with a saying every now and then, but I didn't have time to think about nothing. So while I was on the plane, I text my wife because she always tell me she got bars, right? Molly, I said,
I love it. I love a good Perkism, especially from Mrs. Perkins.
Yeah, so I said, you got something. So I laid it out to a little bit, and I said, the Celtics laid down like what? Or I say, the Celtics rolled over like what? I say, the Celtics quit like what? She said, the Celtics rolled over like wheels on a bus go round and round. I said, nah, we can't do that. Well, God bless America.
You know what? She's around the kids. You can't blame her. She's around kids a lot.
She said that. And then she said the Celtics quit like they was in a UFC fight. I'm telling you, they tapped out. I was like, that's okay. I see you getting it better and you improving. Then she said the Celtics laid it down like a fresh set of dominoes. And as a country boy,
I like that one.
I had to say, you go, girl, because that's exactly what they did. But S.A., it's hard, Molly, for me to blame Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown because as you get deeper into the rounds, coaching gets better. And what we're watching, even when you look at the Nuggets in their player movement, in their ball movement, in the way that they're handling the Lakers right now and how difficult every shot is for the Lakers. Look at the Heat. Look at the player movement. Look at the multiple actions. Look at Duncan Robinson setting back picks and then coming off a pin down off the opposite side. When you look at the Celtics, it's the same style. Here, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, go isolation. You can't do that against this Heat team. They're number one in the league in taking charges. And when you talk about boxes and elbows, it is zero driving gaps for those guys. So at some point, Mazzulla, you have to help your superstars out and put them in position to be successful.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, Perk, is that I want to make sure you understand. I'm not disagreeing with those points. But we know they're young in age.
Right.
But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been here before. It's like a fourth conference finals for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I mean, what the hell is going on? You, Jaylen Brown, 2 of 20, from three-point range. I get what you're coming from, but you still had an opportunity to make some shots from threes, and you're shooting 2 for 20. I mean, there's just no way around this when you consider just the impotence of both of them in this particular equation. I can look at Spoelstra and his genius. I can look at Mazzulla being exposed as a rookie coach, if that, a rec league coach. That's how he looks compared to Eric Spoelstra. No disrespect intended, but my God, the discrepancy is flagrant. You still can't get around the fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown aren't doing anything close to what their capabilities are, what their resume tells us. And more importantly, it's one thing to lose. The Lakers lost. The Lakers lost to a better team. Boston has better talent. You got a guy like Gabe Vincent who's outscoring Jason Tatum.